I have here the last couple of sets that Decipher made that focused on the original trilogy. So closing off Return of the Jedi, we had Endor and Death Star 2. I'll do a pack each of Endor and Death Star 2 and also go through a light side starter deck. The starter deck actually won't be randomized. That has all fixed cards in it, but it's an interesting thing to go through, and I haven't opened a sealed one in, probably since right about when they came out. Well, we'll start with the Endor pack, though. Oh, and it looks like the end here did get opened a little bit. I think I got this one out of a box, but I have noticed Endor packs are the ones that degrade kind of the most for whatever reason. Maybe the lowest quality, a lower quality of wrapper, but I'm not sure if we can see it on here. Maybe there is one, or maybe there isn't, but sometimes there's pinholes along the side, and it's kind of hard to tell if that. Oh, well, okay. That's more than just a pinhole there. There's actually kind of a chunk coming out of it, but as far as I know, this one either came from a box or from a collection of sealed product from a guy that's pretty trustworthy. So, and it is kind of par for the course that Endor packs are hard to find in good condition, even when they've been kept in good shape. If I should say kept in good shape, but it's not like they've been abused. It's just that I notice they're some of the first ones to be less than perfect in my collection of sealed stuff. Okay. Want to be careful getting the cards out here. One of the interesting things about Endor is you could get a foil instead of your rare, and most of the time it was a pretty junky card, one that goes for just a couple bucks, so hopefully you get a rare. I hardly ever open Endor. It's been a while. I'm going to guess it's the middle card, but I'm not sure. So if there's 9 cards, it would be the 5th card. I was thinking there was 11 for some reason. So maybe that's the rare, maybe not. I'm really not sure. Or it could be the last card, too, since it's a 9-card pack. But okay, so that is our rare Perimeter Patrol. Not a very good one. One that I have a bunch of, but it's at least got some interesting text in terms of making it harder for the opponent to get to Endor. The set had a lot of those Rebel Commandos with some pretty good text, especially since most of them were uncommons, it seems. Definitely a revolutionary card this was, to make it expensive for your opponent to force drain if they didn't go in both space and ground. And this is actually one of my favorite cards to play. Depending on whether you're using Aura Singh's Blast Rifle or Battle Droid Blast Rifles, you can have them with a crazy high 9 or 8 Destiny, respectively. And then a pretty good interrupt for drawing force in battle, or one of the original starting interrupts. I guess the first starting interrupt was in Jabba's Palace, but at least an interesting idea of being able to deploy 2 diamond sights to a system. Diamond sights are pretty tough these days with defensive shields for somebody to want to use them. One thing about Death Star 2 boosters, sometimes it looks like the seal is broken on, but this is actually a little bit of a pull tab on this side, so you're going to see this on a lot of Death Star 2 starter decks. They're all, you can tell, well, I don't know if you can tell in the light here that it's pretty well cut. It's cut that way on purpose. All the decks I have one in this exact same spot. So that's just one thing to look out for, since as far as I know, none of the other Decipher products really has pull tabs like that. I'm probably missing out on something, but it's a bit of a rare thing. Just got our starter deck in here. Okay, I forgot that's probably going to start out on the top, but this is the exclusive rare, so it's Admiral Akbar. You only get him in the starter deck. You can't even get him in the booster packs for the set. That was kind of a new thing. They did have fixed cards in special edition starter decks, but yeah, you start out right away with the best 3 cards. I'm going to guess Han is coming next, but Akbar, Chewie, and yep, there's Han. So fairly useful cards in their own right, especially around that time. But all sorts of Death Star 2 and Endor type stuff in these decks, plus with some older cards mixed in. And when I say older cards, well, the Endor ones even, they have the Death Star 2 2000 copyright date, since these were printed separately from the original ones. A few maneuvers, that's a 1995 card originally, but we'll see if we can see the copyright date as 2000 on there. so it's going to be hard to zoom in on. And you can kind of tell the difference in the ink, especially from Premier. It seems like these, the red cards that they put in this set, tend to be a little bit darker than the earlier sets. Another few maneuvers. Okay, I guess I didn't know there was two in the deck. And we'll see a lot of commons and uncommons here. A special edition card that got reprinted. So I do actually sell the sets of reprint cards from my eBay store, because it's one of those things that I didn't know right away, that it's an entirely different subset of collectible cards, I guess you could say. Reprints that are only available in these decks. So a lot of people like to have a set of those. And some stuff that didn't necessarily make sense for the Death Star 2 theme, like Bespin, but you got to have cards in there to be able to activate Force, especially. And the rule book that's in there as well. So this one's in very nice shape, having just come out of the box. And I believe somewhere in here, maybe towards the end, it gives a card list, probably light side and dark side. I think it was the same rule booklet for both light and dark. But yeah, it has here the card list for dark side and the card list for light side, even though that's a dark side card. And this is the first set to have an XR exclusive rare. Oh, wait a second. I maybe have the wrong... I was looking at... This is the card list for the full set. What about the start... Okay, so here's the starter deck card list. I just saw card list and assumed, and I saw, wait a second, you can't get Admiral's orders inside a starter deck. So this is the starter deck card lists. And it even tells you what set the things were originally from. So if you're curious about what cards you had that you may want to assemble a set from, that's a good way to know, okay, so I got all these cards in my Endor box that might be actually a 2000 copyright date. There's some A New Hope in there, definitely some Premier Special Edition, and Endor, of course. So something to keep an eye out for if you're ever sorting cards. These cards on this list, you may want to watch out for a 2000 copyright date. But a good booster to always end on is Death Star 2. There's lots of good cards you can get in here. It seems like half the rares in this set are ones that I'm happy to get in a pack, just because there's so many unique Star Destroyers and Mon Calamari Cruisers, and definitely some main characters in here too that are possible to get. Lando, Luke, the Emperor, Vader, of course. We'll probably see some cards that we saw in the starter deck, like that one. Okay, light side and dark side version of the same. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, right here. Superficial damage and inconsequential losses, so the same versions of the card. Pretty cool idea to try to get non-lightsaber weapons into the game, allowing you to forfeit them to your used pile. I like to use that card a lot, both sides. We're coming up on our rare pretty soon. Okay, our rare's in Admiral's Order. Not always the best cards to get. I think it says taking them with us. Okay, so it's an okay card to get. I do sell it as a single, but I don't know. When opening Death Star 2, I'm hoping for a unique Star Destroyer or Mon Calamari Cruiser usually, but that's the way it goes. And then a pretty good uncommon. He's a very decent pilot. So a couple good uncommons towards the end there. I think both of these have been virtualized into different Imperial officers or pilots. DS615, I think, and they're pretty nifty in a tie deck if you like to make those. So that is it for these last of the original trilogy sets. Nothing too great, but it was at least interesting to go through my first unopened starter deck in a while. Thanks for watching this one, and my next sets coming up will be some of the white border reprint sets, and I hope you tune in for those. Thanks for watching.